my name is Nina. Welcome to my channel, Inside the Mind of a Human Predator. In this video, I wanted to talk about whether it's possible to negotiate with a narcissist and get what you want. First, the usual disclaimer, I'm not a mental health professional, so these are my personal opinions. Now, moving on to the video, the conventional wisdom is that you cannot negotiate with a narcissist because they are so interpersonally destructive. Now, to someone, it may even sound like the question of whether you can negotiate with a terrorist if you're currently involved in a volatile situation with a maladaptive individual with long-term, pervasive, harmful, and dysfunctional patterns of behavior. However, I think it's possible with caveats included, of course. Now, let's think about a normal negotiation, mediation, even an unofficial situation where you've had a dispute with a family member or friend and there is some kind of a moderator present. What happens in the ideal case scenario is that both sides get a mutually beneficial resolution. In a less than ideal scenario, one party loses a little bit, the other party loses a little bit, but there is some kind of a compromise, and the most important aspect of this is that the issue had been resolved. So how do you negotiate with a neurotypical person? This could be, again, a business scenario, a personal situation. Well, you give the opposing side a little bit of what they want, they give you a little bit of what you want, and eventually you meet them somewhere halfway, hopefully. Well, the principle with negotiating with someone who is high on narcissistic traits is the same. And when I'm referring to that, I'm referring to grandiose narcissistic traits, while also making the disclaimer that it doesn't matter whether there is a clinical diagnosis. What matters is the interpersonal carnage that they leave in their life wherever they go. So when we think about grandiose narcissistic traits, you know what they are. It's arrogance, it's a grandiose worldview, which is quite different from what this individual can actually achieve versus what he or she thinks they can achieve in their life. There's a sense of arrogance, superiority, being better than everyone else, low emotional empathy, which is what causes interpersonal carnage, etc., etc. You know what the list is. Well, the principle to negotiating with this individual is the same. And it, of course, depends on multiple factors, whether this person is ready to negotiate, whether this person is cognizant of what he or she could be losing if that negotiation is not going to take place, etc., etc. So all those caveats are in place, of course. However, the principle is the same. You give them what they want. Now, this is where the very particular personality type matters in terms of what you're giving them. So ask yourself, what is important to someone with grandiose narcissistic traits? It is public perception. It is the way this person thinks he or she is being perceived. It's the way this person may actually be perceived, and this then in turn validates their own perception. So in a business situation, if you're in mediation or an unofficial negotiation, you give them what they want. Usually it is some kind of immediate gratification, a short-term win that makes them walk out and feel like the hero that they think they are. It is some kind of a public perception of being victorious, where in the long term, you're the one who's going to be reaping the actual rewards of this negotiation. In a personal situation, let's say it's a divorce in custody settlement, you have to be cognizant of their desire to be perceived like the Disneyland mom, Disneyland dad, grandma, grandpa, etc., etc. So in order to prevent the children from experiencing the harm of their upbringing, you give this individual that holiday that he or she wants, that long weekend that he or she wants. So he or she gets to go around in public parading the children and getting that narcissistic supply that they so crave, whereas you are going to be left with the bulk of parenting. And of course, if you're a neurotypical person, you are going to be that one parent who is providing consistent, decent parenting for the child and mitigating some of the harmful effects that are coming from the opposing side. Once again, the caveat here is cases of domestic violence. Sadly, the courts, even in self-proclaimed progressive countries in North America, the standards are quite low. So unless something is ongoing and physically documentable and it's physical abuse, the other side, if the other side is fighting for it, is going to get some kind of parenting. So when you're in negotiation, you have to be in mediation, etc. You have to be cognizant of that. So what you may or may not get in court may be better or worse, because it depends on the particular judge. It depends on, if you're in the US, what state you are in Canada, what province you're in, etc., etc., etc. So you have to be cognizant of all of these things, but your overall strategy is focusing on the fact that the grandiose narcissist is very interested in a positive public perception. How can I provide this, and what can I get for myself, for my children, for my business, etc., that is going to be a much longer term win, and that would establish some kind of normalcy, that would de-escalate a conflict if you're involved in a long-term conflict, etc., etc., etc. So the takeaway is it's possible, it's contextual, but this is what your overall strategy should be. Focus on giving them that short-term gratification and the public image that they want. I hope you found this useful. Please comment and share the video, and I will see you soon. Thank you.